What's good? Welcome back to Trash Man MMA Man, and today we're going over Tatsuro Taira versus Hyung Sung Park, the main event for this upcoming fight card. Also, the first ever fight card headlined by two Asian people. Very odd. I didn't know that was a fact, but I guess it is a fact. Very odd that it honestly took this long for. So, but I mean, I guess it's not that weird. It's not like there's like crazy fucking Asians in this sport, you know? They're all at fucking one. So, hey, maybe it's not too crazy. But Taira versus Park, I made a whole video going over how this is a pretty fucking dog shit main event. And I also went over a lot of other dog shit main events. So if you want to check that video out after this one, wait till the end of the video, man. It'll pop up. You know what I'm saying? But let's get right into it, man. There's this fight card honestly isn't that bad. But besides the main event, this is a pretty good card. Like it's not half bad, you know. There's a lot of good fights. There's a lot of good fighters. Rebecca versus Duncan. Hey, bro, I fuck with that. Brandon Ribovich. I can't believe this is on a fucking fight night, dude. Magny versus Santos. I like that. Vallejos on here, bro. He's cool. Danny Silva. He's cool. Rinya Nakamura, man. Come on, dude. I'll take that. Tresean Gore. I fuck with Tresean Gore, man. I like that. Ashton Bashi. Hey, you know, whatever, bro. You're here too, and you know we got some fucking bums up here at the bottom. So you know what? We'll go over it, man. We'll go over them all, starting right now. Starting off the card, TAIRA Rodriguez versus Ketlin Souza. Now, this one's a little difficult for me. They're both fairly evens in like career. I think Pereira Rodriguez is like 3-1, or yeah, 3-2, and Ketlin Souza is 2-2 in the UFC. I believe is something like that. TAIRA Rodriguez, she has a good win over I forgot that one girl's name, but you know that one girl that's fucking fraud checking everybody. Here, let me pull up her name right real quick. She's always right there. You think she should lose, but she doesn't lose. Sam Hughes. She has a win over Sam Hughes. That's pretty good. But Ketlin Souza has a split decision loss to Angela Hill. I rate Angela Hill. I can't believe I'm saying that, man. But I kind of rate Angela Hill, man. She goes to split decision a lot. So for Ketlin Souza to make it that kind of competitive, I know Angela Hill gets robbed of split decision robberies all the time. So I mean, just hey, there's a world where she gets robbed again. You know, Souza is a ranked opponent now, and she has a on paper win against Angela Hill. But TAIRA Rodriguez is the favorite. But I don't know. I just can't help see them being the same height, having the same reach, and just one being more lesbian than the other, you know? One has that more grit to her. I do think Ketlin Souza is going to have more bang on her. You know, she's going to have more power. TAIRA Rodriguez, though, does have a surprisingly large amount of TKOs. Half of her wins are by KO. She's half and half. Half by KO, half by decision. Ketlin Souza, she's a little mixed. I think she's like 5, 3, and 7. We'll go with that, you know. I'm actually have no clue what her win ratio is by. Hey, bro, I could check it up right here. 53% and 13% and 32%. All right, we'll pretend like we know the fucking numbers for that. Yeah, let's go. Lands per minute. Ketlin Souza damn near 5. Absorb per minute. She gives one to take one. Grappling, defensive takedown, or takedown defense. I mean, man, I'm gonna go Ketlin Souza, man. She's the underdog here, but I could see her having more bang on her shots. I could see her taking to the ground. TAIRA Rodriguez doesn't really, well, she doesn't have any wins or losses by submission. So I think Ketlin Souza just has that little bit more of a, mix up ability under her belt. So I'm going to go Ketlin Souza on that one. On to the next fight. I can't believe I stayed that long on Rodriguez versus Ketlin fucking Souza. On to the next. Rafael Esteban versus Felipe Bunez. I've never watched Rafael Esteban fight a day in my fucking life. He is somehow a huge fucking favorite. He's 15-1. he's somehow like 20 fucking 5 or something, and he looks dead ass 40. Felipe Bunez is like 35, but somehow this fucking 28-year-old Rafael Esteban looks 30 times older than him. I don't get it. I don't understand this. But hey, man, we're going to have to fucking deal with it. So, Rafael Esteban taking this fight on short notice. Felipe Bunez was supposed to fight. Who is he supposed to fight? Andre Lima. He was supposed to fight Andre Lima. Andre Lima gets injured. They pull in Rafael Esteban on like, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks notice. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm kind of getting gaslit by records here and odds. I really am. Like, I don't see a world where he can win. He's kind of a decision merchant. But Felipe Bunez, we haven't really seen him. Like, as of recently, all we've seen him do was get... Alright, he took a round off Joshua Van, but then he got melted in the second. Then we seen him fucking fight Jose Johnson, who was like a 6-foot fucking freak at flyweight. Got him up out of there. And I think like at the first round, I think. But I guess he was a good contestant, I guess. But I don't know, man. There's just... I'm conflicted here, man. I'm really conflicted. I don't know who to go for. So I'm just going to go with the huge favorite, Rafael Esteban, taking this fight on short notice and getting it done against Felipe Bunez. I'm getting fucking... I'm going to put this one out there. I'm getting completely blindsided by odds and hype right now, bro. If they say he's a plus 500 favorite, I'll fucking believe them. And I'll go with them. So I'll go Rafael Esteban. On to the next. Austin Bashi taking on Jean Yanis. Austin Bashi was supposed to fight... let me bring it in. I can't remember. But he was supposed to fight somebody. John Yanis taking this fight on really short notice. I want to say a week. But he did have a fight coming up August 22nd. I believe I checked on... what was it? I checked on Tapology. He had a fight coming up August 22nd. So 20 days. He's in the ring 20 days earlier than expected. But he's a little bit older than Austin Bashi. Austin Bashi is a pretty young guy. But I just think Austin Bashi can get it done, man. You know, he's a regional... I don't think Austin Bashi is going to really be anything crazy. I think he's going to be another Alexander Hernandez. And I'm not just saying that because he looks identical to him. But I just think Austin Bashi is already kind of handling his career a little odd. I mean, you have your entire career at bantamweight, and your first fight in the UFC, you go to featherweight. I just think moves like that are a little odd. So I think he's a little lost himself, but I think he's good enough to get it done over a debuting, short notice John Yanis. You know, I think Austin Bashi has a good team behind him. I think he is pretty well rounded, so I think he'll be able to get it done, man. I just think he should go back to bantamweight. I don't see the reason why he's moving up. But on to the next fight. Nick Klein versus Andre Puliev. Again, I've never seen Andre Puliev fight, but I do believe he had a split decision loss or maybe unanimous decision loss to CLD. And Nick Klein, he's coming off of a KO loss to Ansur Abdi Malik Ansur Dubli, some fucking shit like that. Malachi. Well, we'll just call him Malachi. Coming off of a loss to Malachi, where he was doing okay for the circumstances. You know, he did get knocked out in the third, but he was surviving. But I don't know if that's on his survivability or Malachi's dog shit finishing instinct, which we have seen multiple times in his career. So I'm gonna go more so on the edge of that was Malachi's fault for not being able to get Nick Klein out of there in the first. I just don't think Nick Klein's that good, man. Like, I just think he's just one of those jiu-jitsu guys, right? Who just, you know, rolls and rolls and rolls. He's like a less technical Ryan Hall, man. Like, I think Andre Puliev, who can go blow for blow, but lose to CLD for 15 minutes. If you go 15 minutes with CLD, I think you go 15 minutes with Ansur Malik. and Nick Klein wasn't able to. So I'm going to go Andre Puliev, gets it done by, I'd say, like 30-27, 29-28. On to the next fight, though. What is it? Rodolfo Vieira versus Tresean Gore. Hey man, like I said, I fuck with Tresean Gore, man. I think he's pretty good. Rodolfo Vieira, a very highly decorated jiu-jitsu guy. I was looking at some posts. I think the post was choose two of your guys to go into a jiu-jitsu tournament. And it was a whole bunch of MMA guys who do jiu-jitsu. I think the post was pick 2 MMA fighters of your choice to go into to win a jiu-jitsu tournament. And there was Charles Oliveira, Ryan Hall, Gunnar Nelson, fucking GM3. Rodolfo Vieira was in the mix as well. But look, man, I think Rodolfo Vieira is good, but I picked Martin Buday to beat that fat fuck who just fought like last weekend. I picked Martin Buday to ransack that jiu-jitsu nerd. Oh, I'm sorry. I forget you guys could fucking hear that. I picked Martin Buday to put hands on a jiu-jitsu nerd last week. And what happened? Martin Buday put hands on a jiu-jitsu nerd last week. So I think Tresean Gore, who, bro, he almost knocked out fucking, what's his name? Marcos Tulio. He almost knocked him out in like the first or second round. I can't remember. But bro, Tresean Gore showed so much heart in that fight, so much fucking grit, that it's honestly impossible for me to believe that he can't beat Rodolfo Vieira, who fucking lost. Who did this fucking nerd lose to? Some absolute fucking bum. Let me pull it up right real quick, just so y'all know the level of dog shit that we're dealing with right now. This guy lost to fucking Andre Petroski. Unanimous decision, lost to Andre Petroski. Bro, I get it. Andre Petroski is a bigger guy. I don't think Tresean Gore is that big for this division. He's pretty short and stocky. He's kind of like a Joaquin Buckley. Just in terms of like built and stature. He's not that tall for the division. But man, dude, if you're losing... Oh, this guy lost to fucking Chris Curtis as well, bro. If you're losing to Chris Curtis and Andre Petroski, bro, I think Tresean Gore, yes, he doesn't have the best wins and losses. He did lose to... Oh, bro, I'm forgetting he lost to that fucking... What's his name? He lost to fucking Cody Brundage, bro. That's a really bad loss. I really don't like that whatsoever. I really don't like that. He beat Antoni Tricoli, who fucking Magomed Sharipov couldn't even get out of there. I don't know, man. This one's really hard. I'm not going to let my heart steer me, man. I think if you're putting hands on Marco Tulio, I just hope that it looks like fucking Tresean Gore likes to jump gillies. So as long as he doesn't jump a fucking gilly in this fight, I think we'll be good. But I don't know. Sometimes you can't fucking, you can't afford to trust these guys' IQ. Rodolfo Vieira isn't as bad as that guy who fought last week either. He's not just a first round finisher, although that is typically what he does. I just think Tresean Gore will be able to put hands on him a little bit. I think he'll be a little bit too fast for him. I don't think Rodolfo Vieira losing to fucking Andre Petroski. I don't think, Tresean Gore's going to have to worry about much. I'm going Tresean Gore. On to the next fight. Rinya Nakamura versus Nathan Fletcher. I think, look, Rinya Nakamura is a pretty huge favorite in this one. I think he's a plus 500. I can't really remember. Or a minus 500, sorry. I don't understand those odds. I really don't, He just lost to Muin Gafarov. Look, Rinya Nakamura is a high-level wrestler. And I believe he got out-wrestled by Muin Gafarov. Which is insane to me because Muin Gafarov is the same guy who would just throw his head into guillotines against fucking Said Nurmagomedov. And it's really hard to believe that this guy is such a huge favorite. If you're betting, I wouldn't bet on Rinya Nakamura. Nathan Fletcher, now, well, he doesn't seem to be a world beater. I mean, he lost a split decision to Calvin Loughran, who I really don't rate. I don't really rate Calvin Loughran all too much. I think I think he proved to us against I forgot who he fought, but he literally just looked like a fucking chicken standing there with his head so high up, no head movement whatsoever. It was another UK guy, but I just think if Nathan Fletcher, if you can't beat no head movement, if you literally can't beat Marvin Vettori at bantamweight, then I don't really know if you could beat Rinya Nakamura, who has a lot of pop in his hands, who has the wrestling. Rinya Nakamura has a lot of KOs. He's kind of one of those guys. He's like an Ilia Topuria, a grappler who's fallen in love with his hands. So I can see that getting Rinya Nakamura into some trouble later in his career. But I don't see Nathan Fletcher being the guy to do it. I think Rinya Nakamura is going to come in here, pretty solid. Wants to get another win back. These Japanese guys, I think they take their wins to loss very seriously, unlike, the Chinese. So I think Rinya Nakamura is going to come here with vengeance. And I think he's going to beat this fucking tough alumni. So I'm going Rinya Nakamura by second round KO. On to the next fight. On the main event, or are these still this is the main card now. Danny Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. This one's tough. I can't believe this fight's on the fucking prelims, man. Or on a fight night. This is insane to me. Danny Silva is looking pretty good, 2-0 in the UFC. Kevin Vallejos, I believe he's 1-0 in the UFC. I just think there's a sheer difference in skill here. Yes, Danny Silva is a bit taller. Has a height advantage of 4 inches. Reach is fairly similar. But Danny Silva's just going to split decision with like fucking Josh Kulibau. And I forget the other guy who he went to split decision with. But Kevin Vallejos, he's losing, He's losing to fucking Gene Silva on the Contender Series. Not getting knocked out by him. I'm sorry, but if you're not getting knocked out by fucking Gene Silva, you're really fucking good. Like, I hate to casual max here, but holy shit, this guy's really fucking good, I just think the fucking skill difference is too apparent. Danny Silva, they're both pretty young as well, but I just don't like the split decisions, man. 2 wins in the UFC and they both come by split decision. You're telling me that in both your fights, a judge in both your fights thought you lost? I just don't like that look, Kevin Vallejos is coming out there, he's finishing people. He had most of his wins are by finish. I can't remember how many, but he has more finishes than decisions. I can tell you that much. Look, 73, 13, and 13, man. Significant strikes. Danny Silva has a lot of fucking output. Holy shit. But he also absorbs a lot, man. I just think Kevin Vallejos, via striking, he has this one. Not handedly in the bag, but if you could take Gene Silva to a, rough and tough decision, I think you could put hands on Danny Silva, who's going to split decision with the fucking Josh Kulibau. So on to the next. I'll go Kevin Vallejos by probably knockout in the first round. On to the next. Neil Magny versus, I always fuck up saying this guy's name, Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. Elizeu. Fuck. Dos Santos. Zaleski dos Santos, man. This one, look, bro, I'm a fucking Haitian sensation supporter, bro. I love Neil Magny. You love Neil Magny. More wins in the welterweight division than the GOAT GSP, man. We fucking love this guy, but I just think his time has come, man. Zaleski dos Santos, man, he's losing, but he's losing to pretty decent comp, He's losing to Danny Brown. That's not his name. Randy Brown. There we go. He's losing to Randy Brown, which is really good fucking win. He's losing to. Look, I got his Tapology pulled up right now. Randy Brown, unanimous decision loss. Renat Fekretinov, draw. TD Njokwani, yeah, he got finished. Muslim Salikov, split decision. Win over Benoit Saint Denis. Abubakar Nurmagomedov, a win. Win over Zach Schrodinger. I'm not rating that. I'm not even going to bring that up, to be honest. I just think I just don't think Neil Magny is good enough to beat Dos Santos. I think they could have a scrap, but I think Neil Magny has taken a little bit too much damage. You know, two KO losses in a row. One to Michael Morales, one to Carlos Prates. Yeah, he had a fucking low-key, not a fluke win against Mike Malott, but it was a late round TKO where it was literally in like the last fucking 20 seconds where he got the fucking TKO victory over Mike Malott because he kind of just gave up. I guess a unanimous decision loss to Ian Gary as well for Neil Magny. It's not the worst, but I think Dos Santos has wiry striking, you know, more pop than Neil Magny. Neil Magny's way to win this fight is a fucking decision. And I think if you're in there for 15 minutes with Dos Santos, I think you can craft some stuff up, man. I don't think you, like, if you're not getting finished by Randy Brown, Neil Magny ain't finishing you. And if you could go to decision against Randy Brown, then I think you can finish a Neil Magny who doesn't have as much pop as these guys. So sadly, I am going against my Haitian sensation GOAT, Neil Magny. And I have to go Dos Santos by, again, first round KO. 3 in a row for Neil Magny. I'm not looking forward to it. But if it's a highlight, I'll celebrate. On to the next fight. Karol Rosa versus Nour Khanal. Nour Khanal's French. Karol Rosa looks, or she's Brazilian. She has cool tattoos. Nour Khanal has cool tattoos as well, though, but she looks kind of dumb. Nour Khanal's like 35, I believe. Actually, what are their ages? Like, yeah, Nour Khanal's 35. Karol Rosa's 30. I'm going Karol Rosa. So Karol Rosa for the win. On to the next fight. Elvis Brenner versus Esteban Ribovic. I'm going Esteban Ribovic. You know, he is coming off of like 2 split decision fights in a row. One to Nasrat Haqparast, and the other to the guy the fucking retard that just lost to that one fuck. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Fuck, what's his name, man? Fuck. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Daniel Zellhuber. But who did Daniel Zellhuber lose to? I can't remember. Michael Johnson. It was Michael Johnson. Sorry, just apples fell over on my desk right now. Holy fuck. So two split decisions in a row. That Daniel Zellhuber split decision isn't aging too well. And, you know, I don't rate Nasrat Haqparast. You know, I really don't. Even though I feel like he's just getting fucking these wins that he doesn't deserve whatsoever. You know, he's going to split decision with fucking Jared Gordon. And, like, I guess Jared Gordon's really fucking good, man. I guess so. But Elvis Brenner, he's getting finished. He got finished for the first time in his career, I guess, by Joel Alvarez. And before that, a loss to Miktek Orabai. I just don't really see all too much, you know. That win over Guram Kutateladze that really put him on the map. That fight only put him on the map because he was getting the shit beat out of him for like 15 minutes straight. For 10 minutes straight, Elvis Brenner was getting the absolute dog piss beat out of him. His blonde hair turned pink with how much of his own blood was soaked into it. He was getting the absolute piss beat out of him by fucking by that kid, Guram Kutateladze. How did I forget his fucking name? He was getting the piss beat out of him by Guram Kutateladze, and he got a late 3rd round TKO finish over Guram because he punched him in the throat and Guram quit. I just think Esteban Ribovic can go to war. He's not going to get punched in the throat. He's not going to fucking crumble to the ground like fucking Charles Oliveira in his heyday. He's not going to. He's going to sit there and he's going to go blow for blow. And if you can't go blow for blow with Joel Alvarez, I'm not saying Esteban Ribovic is as good as Joel Alvarez. I don't think he is. I don't think he has as much pop or sting in his shots, seeing as he went to fucking split decision with Nasrat Haqparast and Daniel Zellhuber. But hey, those were good, both good fights, both good scraps. I think if you throw Elvis Brenner in a scrap like that, I think he's going to be on the losing side of it. And I just don't think I don't think he can really hang with the Esteban Ribovic, who, hey, he's really fucking good, man. So I'm gonna go on Esteban Ribovic. I'm gonna go 29-28 or 30-27 in a war. In a war, I think this is gonna be 3 fights in a row where he gets fight of the night. I think this is gonna be a banger of a fight. So I'm going Esteban Ribovic. On to the co-main event of the evening. Mateusz Rebecki versus Chris Duncan. Bro, I just learned that Rebecki's nickname is Rabiski. That is the dumbest fucking nickname I've ever fucking heard in my entire fucking life. That shit is so fucking dumb. Anyways, Rebecki 4-1 in the UFC. Chris Duncan also 4-1. Similar levels of comp. Yes, similar levels of comp. Rebecki fighting Miktek Orobai, Bruno Ferreira, and before that, Roosevelt Roberts or something like that. And Chris Duncan, now, while not fighting, I mean, it's not like those guys are really crazy, but Chris Duncan losing to Manuel Torres, has a win over Jordan Vucenic, which, hey, before this, Jordan Vucenic was seen as a fucking problem. A real big problem. Now, yeah, he's not really seen as all of that because he's in the UFC now and he has two fights in the UFC and he has 2 losses. One against Guram, who he took on short notice. But the second fight against Chris Duncan, man, they really showed that Chris Duncan is a kind of a problem to be held. And he finished him. He finished Jordan Vucenic. Yeah, he got finished by Manuel Torres in the first round. His other win is Yanala Schmooze, not aging too well. But Rebecki, besides a war against Miktek Orobai and getting the shit beat out of him by Diego Ferreira, I feel like the odds are really outdoing this one. We're supposed to believe that Mateusz Rebecki is so good because he beat Roosevelt Roberts. Miktek Orobai split decision. I see it like he's the favorite, and I just don't. I think this fight should be a pick'em. I think it's because Chris Duncan does look like a fucking unk, but he's not. They're both 32, and I just think Chris Duncan. And plus I'm 1% Scottish, so I'm gonna have that little bias towards me. But I think Chris Duncan can do it. If you go with Mateusz Rebecki, I don't blame you. They're both extremely well-rounded fighters. With Mateusz Rebecki having a bit more experience than Chris Duncan as well. He has 7 more fights than him. So I wouldn't blame anybody for going Mateusz Rebecki, but I'm going Chris Duncan on this one. Just off vibes. I think he could do it off vibes alone. He has a nice little... Oh, I forgot to mention, though. He has a nice little reach advantage as well. 5 inches of reach. If fucking Diego Ferreira can put that jab on you for 15 minutes straight, I think a crafty man Chris Duncan can. If Diego Ferreira can get you out of there in the 3rd round, man, Chris Duncan can get you out of there in the 2nd. You know what I'm saying? But damn, and a 5-inch leg reach advantage over him too, man. Damn, this boy long. Going Chris Duncan. Chris Duncan's big too, man. Both of these guys can really go to welterweight just off stocky size alone. But I think Chris Duncan would fit more into it than Rebecki. Chris Duncan's a pretty big dude. On to the main event. Tatsuro Taira versus Hyung Sung Park. Hyung Sung Park taking this fight on very short notice, filling in for Amir Albazi. But, I mean, Hyung Sung Park had a fight coming up next week against Steve Erceg, so it's not like he's completely out of the blue here. He was preparing for a better striker than Tatsuro Taira in Steve Erceg, but maybe not as much in the grappling, I think the grappling exchanges between Taira and Erceg would be very competitive. Mixed in with the striking of Erceg, I think... I'm just talking about Erceg now. I'm just talking about how I think Erceg would beat Taira, but... I guess we actually talk about Hyung Sung Park. Taira has kind of underrated striking as well. He was clipping Brandon Royval in their fight, but he was also getting clipped by Alex Perez. Hyung Sung Park, look, bro, I've never seen this guy fight. I think he subbed Carlos Hernandez and he has like 2 other wins in the UFC, man. I don't understand why Tatsuro Taira isn't the biggest favorite on this card. I just think somebody who's 3-0 in the UFC isn't really on his level, especially over somebody that, especially since his best win is somebody that Taira also beat. But I guess they're putting a lot of stock in this Young Sung Park kid, Tatsuro Taira. I just think he's a little bit better, man. If you're going to a split decision with Brandon Royval, your striking is at least there, you know. Fucking Brandon Royval. Joshua Van was Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. Without that knockdown, that would have been a split decision. I guarantee you that. So it's not that bad to go against. Tatsuro Taira was able to really ragdoll Royval in some of the grappling exchanges, and for a lot of the rounds, for 2 out of the 5 rounds, he was really able to hold Royval down and not let him do anything. He had a fluke win over Alex Perez that must be mentioned. Just a random fucking knee injury that Taira caused by leaning back. But it's just, other than that, man, it's, you know, it's not much by Taira. So maybe I get why he's not their biggest favorite. But I'm going Tatsuro Taira. If you can hang with the best, if you proved you can hang with the best, I think you're one of the best. Young Sung Park has yet to prove it. I don't think anybody in their right mind can go for Young Sung Park, man. So I'm going Tatsuro Taira by, if he can really ragdoll Brandon Royval like that, I think he can ragdoll Young Sung Park. I could see a second round finish for Tatsuro Taira. Tatsuro Taira isn't really a first round finisher. I feel like he gets a lot of his finishes in the later rounds, you know, after he learns a little bit. So I'm going Taira, man. I'm going Taira by second round submission. I don't think this fight will go to distance. So not a decision, a sub. I see a sub in Tatsuro's near future. So Tatsuro Taira over Young Sung Park by submission in the second round. I'll go by rear naked choke, you know. I think, yeah, that's safe. That's a safe bet. Tatsuro Taira by rear naked choke. All right, guys, that was the card. Overall, pretty decent card. I'm actually not too mad that this is in the Apex. Don't get me wrong. I think this would, with a better main event, I think this could be a live card in front of a crowd. But it's not. You know, I could throw this fight on, chill, kick my feet up on the table, just enjoy it. Not really, you know, take anything too seriously, man. I'm kind of really excited for this card. So, if you guys enjoyed the prediction and breakdowns, man, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you're new, man. And that's me. Hopefully, I'll make a video coming up soon, man. But if not, I'll see you guys in the post-fight recap Sunday. So I'll catch y'all then. Peace.